I found out about addiction treatment centers the hard way. My daughter went to 3 different treatment centers, and each experience was very different. And I had to learn from each one of those experiences. Some of the places that she went to, or one of them was great, the other 2 not so great. So I want to share what I learned from those experiences to help you know what questions to ask so that you're able to find the right fit for your child when they're ready to go to treatment. I'm Heather, and I help mothers worry less and create more connection with their child who's struggling with addiction. Healing can start today. You do not have to wait for recovery. Follow me to learn more. Before I share 3 of the things that I learned about treatment centers that you can ask about to help you find the right place, I just want to share that this is based on my personal experience. I'm not a doctor, but I am a mother who's had a lot of on-the-job training. And so I'm hoping that by sharing my experience, you don't have to go through the things that my daughter and I went through. So the first thing that I learned about treatment centers that was very surprising is that not all treatment centers that offer detox do it in a hospital-like or even medical setting. And a lot of times your child will never see a doctor or nurse in person. They don't have any on site, but they will meet one on a call like Zoom. And the doctor's orders and giving of medication and all of those things are carried out by techs who have very little training. So ask specific questions about their detox, how it's run. Do they employ a nurse or doctor that is ever physically on site? And if they do, how often are they there? It's just really important to ask these questions, really no matter what kind of medical care that you're receiving. You always want to ask questions, and don't just trust that things are going to be handled the way that you would expect them to, especially when it comes to treatment centers, because there aren't as many regulations as you would expect. And the one place that my daughter went to where they had a nurse on site, in fact, the nurse checked us in, and there was also a doctor that was there quite a bit, was the place that she made the biggest changes in her recovery. So therapists that work at treatment centers, this is number 2, are often in the early part of their career and really overworked. They have to see way more patients than they can handle, and this is not their fault or to say anything bad about them. It's just a bad situation that a lot of treatment centers put their therapists in. They're generally very understaffed. So that's something to think about. You might not be able to get any kind of family counseling sessions, and you might not be able to get a hold of the therapist to ask questions about how your child is doing. 2 of the places that my daughter went to, she had really great therapists, but again, they were so busy that we never got to do a family session. And one of the places, the therapist was super nice, but she was not skilled. This place claimed to be able to handle co-occurring disorders, which my daughter was also dealing with an eating disorder. And the therapist did not know how to help her with that. In fact, a lot of the things that she did were actually quite triggering to my daughter's eating disorder. And she was so overworked, I could never get updates about my daughter, and my daughter was a minor at the time, and all of my questions had to go through the therapist, even though I was told that I could call and ask questions any time of the night or day. So that was very frustrating for me. And this therapist was not skilled at family counseling. And at the time, my relationship with my daughter was really very strained. And the one family counseling session that we had was very damaging to our relationship. The therapist did not know how to manage the situation or help my daughter and I work through things. So that's something to be very aware of, that just like anything else, not all therapists have equal training. So when you're looking for a place, ask how many therapists they have, how many patients each therapist have, ask for their background, and just see how much information that you can find out, because your child's going to be spending a lot of time with that person. That's going to be the main person that they're doing their one-on-one therapy with. So the third and final thing that I'm going to share in this video is that some treatment centers aren't exactly family friendly. They will call family members enablers and codependent without really knowing the family history, just assuming that all family members are enablers or codependent. And that is really unhelpful. And they will even tell family members that if their child leaves treatment early, that they should not let them come home, and they shouldn't even accept their calls or talk to them until they go back to treatment. And that can be very damaging to everybody involved. So ask what they think about family members and what their family program is like. If they promote family recovery, how they help family members work together instead of alienating somebody, your child, who isn't doing what you want them to. They should be able to teach you how to collaborate with your child and work through these things, like when they want to leave treatment early. So do your research, write down the questions that you want to ask ahead of time, and don't hesitate to ask as many questions that you need to feel comfortable. This is going to have a huge impact on you and your child, and it's worth taking the time to find the best fit for you and your child, and a place that supports family recovery.